Does it feel like you're running in circles? Like no matter how hard you try, nothing really changes? You push, you hustle, you tell yourself tomorrow will be different, but somehow tomorrow looks exactly the same. Maybe you're stuck in a job that drains you, trapped in habits you can't shake, or watching your dreams slip further away. You know you're capable of more, but something keeps pulling you back. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and worst of all, it makes you wonder if real change is even possible. But here's the truth. You're not stuck because you're unlucky. You're not stuck because you're not trying hard enough. You're stuck because of one major mistake, one that millions of people unknowingly make every single day. The good news? Once you see it, you can fix it. And once you fix it, everything changes. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear isn't just motivation, it's a wake-up call. If you don't break free from this mistake, you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you do, you'll finally have the power to create the life you've been waiting for. Have you ever felt like you're pushing as hard as you can, yet nothing seems to change? Like you're running on a treadmill, exhausted but stuck in the same place. It's frustrating. You set goals, make plans, and try to stay consistent, but somehow progress feels just out of reach. And the worst part? Watching others move forward while you feel trapped. So what's really going on? Why do some people seem to make progress effortlessly while others struggle for years? Most people think it's about working harder, staying motivated, or just having more discipline. But that's not the problem. The real issue? You're carrying invisible weights. It's not laziness, it's not a lack of drive, it's the unseen beliefs, fears, and doubts that quietly hold you back. It's the story you've been told, or the one you've told yourself, about what you can and can't do. Think about it. Have you ever talked yourself out of an opportunity because you didn't feel ready? Have you ever held back because you feared failure? That's the invisible force at work, and until you recognize it, you'll keep fighting the wrong battle. It's time to break free, not by forcing yourself to work harder, but by understanding what's truly in your way. Because once you see it, you can change it. And when you change it, everything else starts to shift. Hard work is not the problem. You're putting in the hours, you're grinding, you're exhausted, and yet nothing seems to change. The results you want feel just out of reach. Frustrating, isn't it? But here's the truth. Working harder won't fix the wrong strategy. Imagine trying to dig a tunnel with a spoon. No matter how much effort you put in, you're using the wrong tool. Many people spend years hustling in the wrong direction, mistaking movement for progress. They stay busy, but never break through. If that sounds familiar, it's time to stop and ask yourself, am I working hard on the right things? Effort must be aimed with precision. A great athlete doesn't just train, they train the right way. A great artist doesn't just paint, they master the fundamentals first. Success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. So take a step back, look at where your energy is going. Are you building something real or just spinning in circles? The sooner you focus on the right actions, the sooner you'll see real change. Effort matters, but effort without direction is like trying to push open a door that pulls. No matter how strong you are, how determined you feel, or how much energy you pour in, the door won't budge. Because you're using the wrong approach. A lot of people believe that if they just work harder, things will eventually fall into place. They wake up early, stay up late, grind through the day, and push themselves to the limit. But here's the problem. Movement is not the same as progress. Think about a hamster running on a wheel. It looks busy, it's putting in effort. But is it actually getting anywhere? Many people do the same thing in life. They fill their schedules, chase after tasks, and stay in motion without ever stopping to ask, am I actually moving forward? Hard work is useless if it's not aimed at the right target. Sometimes the answer isn't to push harder, it's to step back, reassess, and change direction. Because the wrong approach, no matter how much effort you put into it, will never lead to the right outcome. Imagine this. You're climbing a ladder as fast as you can, step by step, higher and higher. You're sweating, pushing through the burn, determined to reach the top. But when you finally look up, you realize something awful. You've been climbing the wrong ladder. It's leaning against the wrong wall, and everything you worked for isn't leading you where you want to go. That's what happens when you chase success without first making sure you're heading in the right direction. Speed doesn't matter if you're going the wrong way. You can work harder than anyone else, put in the extra hours and sacrifice sleep, but if your ladder is against the wrong wall, all that effort won't get you what you truly want. So ask yourself, is what you're chasing actually leading you to the life you want? Are you climbing because it's your goal or because someone else told you it should be? Stop and check your wall before you keep climbing. Because the right path, even if it's slower, will always take you further than the wrong one at full speed. Stop for a second and think back. Where were you 5 years ago? What were your dreams, your plans, the things you said you'd accomplish? Now look at where you are today. Are you further ahead, or are you standing in the same place, making the same promises to yourself? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is telling you something. It's reminding you that time doesn't wait. 5 years from now, you'll either be proud of what you built or regretful that nothing changed. And here's the truth. If you keep doing the same things, thinking the same way, and making the same excuses, you'll wake up in another 5 years with nothing different to show. So ask yourself one simple, powerful question. If I keep living exactly as I am right now, where will I be in 5 years? Will I be stronger, wiser, and closer to my dreams? Or will I still be stuck wishing I had started sooner? The choice is yours. But if you want a different future, it starts with changing what you do today. Why do some people break through barriers while others stay trapped in the same cycle for years? It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even effort alone. The real difference is mindset. The way you think shapes your actions. It determines the risks you take, the limits you accept, and the results you get. But here's what most people don't realize. Mindset isn't set in stone. It can be reshaped, rewired, and reprogrammed. Right now, you might be holding yourself back without even realizing it. You might be stuck in a loop of hesitation, telling yourself it's not the right time, that you're not ready, or that you don't have enough experience. But let me tell you something. Successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They challenge their own doubts, take action despite uncertainty, and refuse to let fear decide their future. In this section, we're going to break down the key differences between those who stay stuck and those who move forward. We'll uncover the thought patterns that are holding you back, and more importantly, we'll show you how to replace them with ones that push you ahead. By the end, you'll have the tools to shift your thinking, challenge your limits, and finally take control of where you're headed. Let's dive in. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the same challenge, yet one rises above it while the other crumbles? Why does this happen? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's mindset. Your mindset is the filter through which you see the world. It controls how you interpret setbacks, how you respond to failure, and how much effort you put into your goals. If you believe you can grow, you will push forward. If you believe you're stuck, you won't even try. It's that simple. Think about someone who has achieved great success, an athlete, an entrepreneur, a leader. They weren't born with superpowers. They developed a mindset that refused to accept defeat as the final answer. When they failed, they learned. When they struggled, they adjusted. That's the power of mindset. But here's the catch. Your brain doesn't just observe reality, it creates it. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, your brain will find ways to prove you right. If you tell yourself you're capable, your actions will start to align with that belief. So ask yourself, what kind of life do you want? Because the moment you change your mindset, you change your future. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions create your results. If you believe success is possible for you, you'll take action. If you believe it's out of reach, you won't. That's why people who expect to fail rarely give their full effort. Why bother trying if you think it won't work? Let's say two people want to start a business. One believes, I don't know enough, I'll probably fail. The other believes, I don't know everything, but I can learn. Who do you think will take more steps toward their goal? Who will keep going when things get tough? This applies to every part of life, relationships, health, career. When you believe in possibility, you act differently. You push through challenges instead of backing down. You look for solutions instead of excuses. You don't let fear stop you, because deep down you believe progress is within reach. And when you take action, results follow. It may not happen overnight, but the more you show up, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more confident you become. That confidence fuels more action. It's a cycle, one that starts with what you believe. So let me ask you, what beliefs are shaping your actions right now? Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? The science behind mindset. How your brain reinforces the thoughts you repeat. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It takes the thoughts you repeat most often and turns them into automatic beliefs. This is called neuroplasticity. the ability of your brain to rewire itself based on what you focus on. If you keep telling yourself, I always mess up, your brain strengthens that belief. It starts filtering your experiences to confirm it. You forget the times you succeeded and highlight the times you failed. The result? You feel stuck. But the good news is this works in reverse too. When you repeat, I can figure this out, your brain starts looking for proof of that. It notices small wins. It remembers past successes. Over time, your confidence grows, not because of magic, but because your brain is learning to believe in you. This is why affirmations and visualization work, not because they're empty words, but because they train your brain to focus on possibility instead of failure. So what thoughts do you repeat daily? Are they helping you or hurting you? Because whether you realize it or not, your brain is always listening. The hidden cost of negative thinking. Why self-doubt becomes self-sabotage. Negative thoughts don't just stay in your head, they control your choices. If you believe you're not smart enough, you won't take the course that could change your career. If you believe you're not worthy of love, you'll settle for relationships that don't fulfill you. If you believe success is impossible, you'll never try in the first place. Self-doubt doesn't just hold you back, it quietly destroys opportunities before you even give them a chance. It makes you hesitate when you should take action. It makes you overthink when you should move forward. And worst of all, it makes failure feel permanent, when in reality it's just a lesson. Imagine standing at the edge of a swimming pool, afraid to jump in. Your mind screams, what if I sink? But the truth is, you won't know until you try, and the longer you wait, the scarier it feels. That's exactly how self-doubt works. It keeps you standing on the edge while life moves forward without you. But here's the thing, doubt is a liar. It's just a habit of thought, not a reflection of reality. The only way to break it is to take action, even when you're afraid. Because once you do, you realize fear is the only thing holding you back all along. So what will you choose? Stay stuck in doubt or take the first step toward proving yourself wrong? Let me ask you something. When you face a challenge, do you see it as a wall or a door? Do you believe your abilities are set in stone, or do you think you can improve with effort? These questions might seem simple, but the answers determine the course of your life. Some people are trapped in what's called a fixed mindset. They believe they are either naturally good at something or they're not. They think intelligence, talent, and skill are things you're born with, not things you build. Because of this, they avoid challenges, fear, failure, and stay inside their comfort zone. And do you know what happens? Nothing, no growth, no progress. Just the same cycle over and over again. But then there's the growth mindset. The mindset of people who see setbacks as stepping stones. They understand that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every time they make a mistake, they learn. Every time they struggle, they get stronger. They know talent is just the starting point, but effort, learning, and persistence are what creates success. So which mindset do you have? Be honest with yourself. If you're avoiding challenges because you're afraid to fail, you're holding yourself back. But if you're willing to step up to try to fail and to learn, you're already on the path to something bigger. The choice is yours. Are you staying stuck? Or are you growing? Let's talk about something that controls your entire life, your mindset. Whether you realize it or not, the way you think determines what you do, how you react, and what kind of results you get. Right now, you are either in a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. One will keep you stuck, the other will push you forward. A fixed mindset keeps you in fear. It tells you that failure is proof you're not good enough. It makes you avoid risks because you're scared of looking foolish. It convinces you that you were born with a set amount of skill, talent, or intelligence, and that's all you'll ever have. This mindset kills progress before it even begins. A growth mindset, on the other hand, sees failure as fuel. It knows that every mistake is a lesson, every setback is an opportunity, and every challenge is a chance to improve. The most successful people in the world don't avoid failure, they use it. They see effort as the path to mastery and understand that skills aren't fixed. They are built over time. So ask yourself, are you holding yourself back without even realizing it? Think about the last time you struggled with something. Did you tell yourself, I'm just not good at this? Or did you think, I can figure this out? That one simple shift in thinking changes everything. The most common limiting beliefs that keep people stuck. Let's break down the most common beliefs that stop people from reaching their full potential. If you've ever said these things to yourself, it's time to change that. I'm not good enough. This is imposter syndrome in action. You think you need to be perfect before you even start. But let me tell you something. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person has doubted themselves at some point. The difference? They didn't let that doubt stop them. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build by taking action despite the fear. I don't have enough time, money, or resources. This is a scarcity mindset, and it's keeping you small. Do you think the most successful people had all the time and money in the world when they started? No. They made it work with what they had. They found solutions instead of excuses. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. I'll start when I'm ready. This is the biggest lie of all. You will never feel ready. You will never have all the knowledge, all the confidence, or all the answers. The only way to get ready is to start. Taking action creates the momentum you need. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you're actually just delaying your own success. So which of these limiting beliefs have been holding you back? It's time to call them out, replace them with better thoughts, and move forward. Let me ask you something. How many times have you caught yourself saying, I'll start when the time is right? Maybe you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right connections, or just a sign that it's finally your moment. But let me tell you the truth, waiting is a trap. There is no perfect time, there is no golden invitation. The people who get ahead in life aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who decide, they take what they have, no matter how little, and they start. Think about it. Every expert you admire was once a beginner. Every champion you see today was once unsure, struggling, and figuring things out step by step. The difference? They didn't wait for confidence to magically appear. They built it through action. They didn't wait for clarity, they moved forward even when things felt uncertain. So what does that mean for you? It means the shift from waiting to creating starts now. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the first step. Make the call. Write the first page. Learn the skill. Open the door to something new. Because the longer you wait, the further you stay from the life you could be living. And trust me, one day, you don't want to look back and realize you spent more time waiting than actually living. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you the life you want. It's on you, and that's not bad news. It's the best news. Because it means you don't have to wait. You don't have to hope. You can start now. The biggest trap people fall into is waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to give them permission. But waiting never built a business. It never got anyone in shape. It never turned dreams into reality. Action did. So how do you break the cycle? You stop thinking and you start moving. When doubt creeps in, when fear whispers not yet, do one small thing immediately. Send the email, take the first run, write the first sentence. Action creates momentum. Try this. Picture the version of yourself who has already succeeded. What would they do right now? Then do it. The more you act like the person you want to become, the faster you become them. Don't wait. Make it happen. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in the same cycle no matter how hard you try to change? Like you're running in place, repeating the same struggles, facing the same setbacks? That's not an accident. That's your mind on autopilot. Most of what you do every day isn't a conscious decision, it's a habit. The way you wake up. Let's talk about a trap that catches more people than anything else. Comfort. It feels safe, it feels familiar, but let me ask you, how much has it actually helped you grow? The truth is, your comfort zone isn't a shield, it's a cage. It keeps you exactly where you are, even when you know you should be somewhere else. Think about it. You stick with the same habits, the same routines, the same way of thinking, because it's easy, because it doesn't scare you. But here's the problem, everything you want, everything that could change your life is sitting outside of that safe little space. Growth doesn't happen where it's comfortable. It happens when you step into the unknown, when you take on challenges that stretch you, when you feel uncertain but move forward anyway. Look at anyone who's achieved something great. They didn't get there by playing it safe. They took risks. They felt fear but didn't let it stop them. Now, here's your reality check. Are you choosing comfort over the life you truly want? Because every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your progress. You settle. You make excuses, and years later you look back and wonder why nothing changed. So let me make this clear. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the price of growth. And the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you take control of your future. Think about where you are right now. The habits you built, the choices you made, the way you think, it all got you to this point. But here's the truth, if you want to go further, to break into new levels of success, you can't keep doing the same things. What worked before won't work forever. People get stuck because they cling to their old ways, hoping that effort alone will push them ahead, but effort in the wrong direction is just wasted energy. Imagine trying to unlock a new door with an old key. No matter how hard you turn it, it won't fit. That's what happens when you refuse to grow. Every major leap in life requires an upgrade, not just in skills, but in mindset. Athletes don't train the same way year after year. They adapt, they push, they refine. Business leaders don't build billion-dollar companies with the same ideas they had when they were starting out. They evolve. If you're repeating the same behaviors but expecting better results, you're setting yourself up for frustration. The only way forward is to disrupt the cycle. Identify what's holding you back, change the way you think, break the habits that no longer serve you. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a willingness to let go of the past and step into the unknown. Because the life you want is waiting, but only if you're willing to grow into the person who can reach it. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in place? Like no matter how hard you try, nothing really changes. You set big goals, make promises to yourself, and maybe even feel a spark of motivation, but then life happens. You fall back into the same patterns, the same struggles, the same frustrations. And eventually you start wondering, is this just the way things are? Let me tell you something. No, it's not. You are not stuck, you are not powerless. The only thing keeping you where you are is what you do every single day. If you want a different life, a better future, or a stronger version of yourself, then you need to change the things you do most often. Because success doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from the small choices you make over and over again. Today we're going to break that cycle. Today you learn how to take control. Because when you change your habits, you change everything. Let's get started. Your habits are the roots, change them, and your life changes too. Look around at your life right now. Your health, your relationships, your success, they are all direct results of the habits you've built over time. Your habits are the roots beneath the surface, quietly shaping everything you see above ground. If those roots are strong, your life grows in the right direction. But if they're weak or tangled, nothing flourishes. This is why small daily habits matter more than big dramatic decisions. It's easy to think that success comes from one huge leap, a bold career move, a sudden breakthrough, or an overnight transformation. But that's not reality. Real change happens in the quiet, repetitive moments that most people ignore. It's the extra 10 minutes you spend reading instead of scrolling on your phone. The choice to drink water instead of soda. The decision to wake up when your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. Tiny things that seem meaningless in the moment, but over time they shape everything. This is called the compound effect. When you improve by just 1% every day, the difference becomes massive over time. Imagine two people who start in the same place. One keeps doing what they've always done. The other makes tiny improvements every day. At first, there's no visible difference, but 6 months, a year, 5 years, the gap between them is enormous. One is thriving, the other is still wondering why nothing changed. So how do you start? Simple. First, identify one habit that's holding you back. Not 10, not 5, just one. Maybe it's how you spend your mornings, how you react to stress, or how you fuel your body. Then swap it for a small positive change. Not a complete overhaul, just a slight shift in the right direction. Do this every day, and soon you won't have to force it. It will become who you are. And when that happens, your future will start looking very different. The life you want isn't out of reach. It's just on the other side of your habits. Change them and you change everything. Let me ask you something. What's one thing you keep doing that holds you back? You know what it is. That habit, that cycle, that excuse. Maybe it's hitting snooze every morning, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, or staying in a job, a routine, or a mindset that drains you. Whatever it is, it's time to face it. Because here's the truth. If you don't break the pattern, it will keep you exactly where you are. Take a hard look at your daily life. What's one thing you do over and over that keeps you stuck? Identify it, write it down, say it out loud. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about finally seeing the chains so you can break them. Once you name it, decide right now that today is the day it ends. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Now don't just remove the habit, replace it. If you always say, I don't have time, change it to, I'll make time. If you stay silent when you should speak up, decide that today you will be heard. The only way to move forward is to act now. Because if you don't change something today, nothing changes tomorrow. Have you ever looked at your life and wondered, why am I still in the same place? Have you ever felt stuck, like you're running in circles while others seem to be moving forward? Maybe you've tried to change before, but no matter what you did, you kept falling back into the same old habits. Let me tell you something. Today is the day that changes. This isn't just another speech to make you feel good for a few minutes. I'm here to show you how to break through what's holding you back. I'm here to challenge you, to make you think differently and to push you toward real action. Because the truth is, success, real success, doesn't come from luck or waiting for the right time. It comes from making a choice every single day to step up and do the work. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Stay with me, because what you hear today could be the moment everything shifts. Failure. It's a word that makes most people cringe. It's the thing we fear, the thing we avoid at all costs. But let me tell you something. Failure isn't the enemy. It's the greatest teacher you'll ever have. Most people see failure as a dead end. They think it means they aren't good enough, that they should stop trying, that success is out of reach. But what if I told you that failure is actually the beginning? What if I told you that every single setback carries the exact lesson you need to move forward? The difference between people who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. The successful ones see failure as feedback, not defeat. They don't ask, why did this happen to me? They ask, what can I learn from this? Think about Thomas Edison. Before he invented the light bulb, he failed over 1,000 times. But did he stop? No. He famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. That's the mindset you need. Every mistake, every rejection, every roadblock, it's all data. It's all showing you what needs to change so you can get better. So how do you do this in real life? Start by analyzing your mistakes, not running from them. If you fail a test, figure out where you went wrong. If a business idea flops, ask why. Look at what worked, what didn't, and what you'll do differently next time. Failure isn't a stop sign, it's a roadmap. If you learn to read it, it will take you exactly where you need to go. Fear is the invisible chain that holds most people back. It whispers lies, convincing you that you're not ready, not talented enough, or that the risk is too great. But let me ask you something. What would you do if you weren't afraid? What goals would you chase? What dreams would you build? Most people don't realize that fear isn't just an emotion. It's a wall they've built in their own mind. A wall that keeps them from stepping up, speaking out, or reaching for something bigger. And here's the harsh truth. That wall isn't real. It's made of doubts, past failures, and the opinions of others. But walls can be torn down. Think about the people you admire, those who have done things you dream about. Do you think they were fearless? No. The difference is they didn't let fear decide for them. They felt it and they moved anyway. So let me ask you again, what would you do if fear wasn't standing in your way? Picture it, feel it. That version of you, the one who acts despite fear, that's the real you. And you don't need permission to become that person. You just need to take one step. Now, let's talk about what's really keeping you from doing that. Let me tell you something. No one is coming to give you permission. No one is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, now's the perfect time, go for it. If you're waiting for approval for the right moment or for someone to validate your dream, you'll be waiting forever. Think about it. Every great success story started with someone who decided to move forward before they felt ready. They didn't have everything figured out. They didn't have a guarantee, but they started anyway. You might be telling yourself, I need more experience, or I need more confidence. But the truth is, confidence comes after action, not before. The only way to believe in yourself is to do the thing that scares you, to take the first step, however small, and prove to yourself that you can. So here's your permission. Start today. Whatever your dream is, do something right now that brings you closer to it. Make the call, write the plan, post the content, just begin. Because the people who succeed aren't the ones who waited for the right moment. They're the ones who decide to start without it, let's be real. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to fight for your dreams harder than you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take control. It's easy to wait, to hope that someone will give you a lucky break, to believe that someday things will just fall into place. But that kind of thinking will keep you stuck. Because every second you spend waiting for help is a second you could be using to build the life you want. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when the time is right? Or I just need a little more support, a little more motivation. But the truth is, waiting doesn't bring results. Action does. The moment you take full ownership of your life, everything changes. When you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck, you take back your power. You stop seeing problems as roadblocks and start treating them as challenges to overcome. So stop waiting. No one is coming. It's up to you. And that's not bad news. That's the best news you'll ever hear. because it means you have control. And when you finally decide to step up and take action, nothing can stop you. It's easy to blame. Easy to point at a boss, a parent, a rough childhood, or bad luck and say, that's why my life isn't where I want it to be. Blaming others feels good for a moment. It lets you off the hook. It gives you a reason to stay where you are. But here's the problem. Every time you blame, you give away your power. Think about it. If your struggles are always someone else's fault, then what can you do about it? Nothing. You're stuck, waiting for someone else to fix it. That's why blaming keeps you in the same place, frustrated, bitter, and going in circles. Now, let's flip the script. What if, instead of pointing fingers, you asked yourself, what can I do? What if, no matter what happened in the past, you took control of what happens next? That shift changes everything. It takes you from a passenger in your own life to the one steering the wheel. Blaming may feel good for a moment, but ownership makes you unstoppable. So stop waiting for an apology. Stop waiting for life to be fair. It's time to take back control. Because the only person who can change your life is you. Life will always give you two choices: to see yourself as a victim or to rise as a victor. You cannot be both. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't luck, talent, or resources. It's mindset. Some people let their struggles become their identity. They say, life is unfair, I never get a break, it's not my fault. And maybe it's true. Maybe life has thrown you challenges you didn't deserve. But here's the truth. Self-pity will never move you forward. It keeps you trapped. It convinces you that you are powerless when in reality you still have control. Look at people who have beaten the odds. Nick Vujicic was born without arms or legs, yet he built a life that inspires millions. He had every reason to give up, but he didn't. He refused to let his struggles define him. That is the power of choice. Every day you face this decision. Will you focus on what's stopping you, or will you take control? Will you let your past hold you back, or will you step forward despite it? Victors don't wait for someone to save them. They take action. You don't need a perfect past to build a better future. But you do need to stop holding on to excuses. Choose to rise. Choose to fight. Choose to win. Change doesn't happen all at once. It starts with a single decision. Right now, pick one area of your life, just one, where you will take full responsibility. It could be your health, your finances, your attitude, or even how you spend your time. Why does this matter? Because when you take control of one thing, you prove to yourself that change is possible. And that small win, it creates momentum. If you can wake up 30 minutes earlier, you can build discipline. If you can manage your money better, you can create security. One choice leads to another. Excuses lose power the moment you take action. So today, choose something. Own it completely. No more blaming, no more waiting. Start now. Change feels big. It feels heavy. That's why most people never start. They look at everything that needs fixing and feel stuck. But here's the truth. Change isn't about fixing everything at once. It's about breaking it down, making it simple, and taking the first step. Think about it like cleaning a messy room. If you stand there staring at the chaos, it feels impossible. But if you pick up one thing, then another, momentum builds. That's how real change happens. Small actions repeated daily create something bigger than you ever thought possible. Now let's talk about the biggest trap, overthinking. Most people don't fail because they can't change. They fail because they never start. They get lost in questions. Well, what's the best way? What if I mess up? What if it's too late? Stop. The best way is the way you take. The only mistake is waiting. The only failure is doing nothing. So where do you start? Right where you are, pick one thing, one habit, one decision, and commit to it. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. The process is simple. Identify what needs to change. Be honest with yourself. Pick one thing holding you back. Make it small and doable. Don't try to fix everything overnight. Focus on one habit, one shift. Act immediately. Even a tiny step today is better than a perfect plan that never happens. Read it daily. Consistency builds confidence. Confidence builds results. This is how real change happens, not through overthinking, not through waiting, but through action, starting today. Let's be real. Most people fail at goal setting, not because they're lazy, not because they don't have talent, but because they set goals the wrong way. They either make them too vague, too big, or too unrealistic. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I want to get in shape, or I want to be successful, but nothing really changed? That's because those aren't real goals, they're just wishes. A real goal has a clear destination and a path to get there. If you don't define it, you'll never reach it. So let's change that. The power of clarity. Defining what success actually looks like. If you don't know exactly what you're aiming for, how will you hit the target? Success isn't just a feeling, it's a result. You have to be specific. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, say, I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months by exercising 3 times a week. Instead of, I want more money, say, I will earn an extra $1,000 a month by freelancing. See the difference? Clarity removes confusion. It gives you a plan. And when you have a plan, action becomes easier. A foolproof method to set goals that stick. Here's the key. Break your goal into small, simple steps. If your goal is too big, your brain will panic. But if you break it down into daily or weekly tasks, it becomes manageable. Let's say you want to write a book. Instead of thinking about the whole thing, focus on writing just 1 page a day. That's it, 1 page. Do that for a year and you have a 365-page book. Small steps, done consistently, create big results. That's how you set goals that stick, not by dreaming about the finish line, but by focusing on the next step right in front of you. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that the biggest changes in your life won't come from one big moment, but from the small things you do every single day? Too many people wait for a breakthrough. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect idea, the perfect opportunity, but real success doesn't work like that. The compound effect, how tiny choices shape your future. Think about a drop of water. One drop doesn't seem like much, right? But if it keeps falling in the same spot day after day, it can carve through solid rock. That's the power of small, repeated actions. Every decision you make, what you eat, how you spend your time, whether you show up or make an excuse, adds up. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. At first it's small, but over time it grows bigger and stronger until nothing can stop it. Successful people understand this. They don't focus on giant leaps. They focus on getting just a little better every day. They write 1 page, make 1 call, take 1 step. It doesn't feel like much at first, but over time it changes everything. The myth of overnight success and what actually works. We love stories of instant success. The singer who got discovered overnight. The business that took off in a year. But if you look closer, you'll see the years of hard work behind the scenes. The late nights, the early mornings, the failures. No one sees that part. The truth is, lasting success is built, not found. It's the athlete who trains every day, even when no one is watching. The entrepreneur who keeps learning even when things aren't working. The student who studies even when they don't feel like it. It's not about luck. It's about putting in the work day after day. How to stay consistent even when motivation fades. Motivation is great, but let's be honest. It won't always be there. Some days you won't feel like getting up early. You won't feel like pushing yourself. That's normal. The key is discipline. You don't brush your teeth only when you feel like it. You do it because it's a habit. Treat your goals the same way. Create a system. Set a routine. Make it automatic. The easier you make it to take action, the less you'll rely on motivation. And remember this, every small action counts. If you keep showing up, even on the tough days, you will get results. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but over time, the effort you put in will create something unstoppable. So start now. Start small and don't stop. Let's be real. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the perfect moment, the right conditions, or a guaranteed outcome. If you're waiting for the fear to disappear, for confidence to magically show up, or for someone to give you permission, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, taking action feels uncomfortable. But do you know what's even worse? Staying in the same place day after day, knowing deep down that you're capable of more. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and the longer you wait, the heavier that feeling becomes. The truth, waiting won't make things easier. If hesitation solved problems, we'd all be successful. But it doesn't. It only creates more doubt, more regret, and more missed chances. You might think, I'll start next week, or I'll wait until I'm ready. But let me ask you, when has waiting ever made something easier? It hasn't, because readiness doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. How to silence self-doubt and take the first step today. Self-doubt is like a noisy neighbor. It will always be there trying to talk you out of doing the hard things. But here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to start. Even if you're unsure, even if it's scared, even if it's messy, The moment you take one step, doubt starts to lose its power. Your challenge, commit to one action right now. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can either stay where you are, thinking about what you could do, or you can decide to do something, anything that moves you forward. One small action. That's all it takes to break the cycle of waiting. So what's it gonna be? Keep hoping, or start doing? Your future self is watching. Make a choice they'll thank you for.